The Galactic Archive's oldest records spoke of them in whispers. Species from Deathworlds who learned to hide their true nature. The archivists called it the mask, a survival mechanism more terrifying than any weapon. Admiral Kethryn of the Hegemony Fleet had never believed those old stories. Humans seemed so fragile, so eager to please. They smiled too much, laughed too easily, helped everyone. When they joined the galactic community 40 years ago, they'd practically bent over backward to fit in. Weak, he'd thought. Perfect for subjugation. Now, standing on the bridge of his flagship above Earth's burning colonies, watching his easy victory turn into a nightmare, he understood why the archives had warned against pushing Deathworlders too far. It had started simply. The hegemony needed resources, and humanity's colonies were rich but poorly defended. Their military was a joke, old ships held together with adhesive strips and hope. When he'd demanded their surrender, the human ambassador had actually tried to negotiate, offering compromise after compromise. "Please," Ambassador Rebecca Martinez had said, her voice steady despite the fleet surrounding her station. "We can find a peaceful solution. We always have." Kethryn had laughed. He'd ordered the destruction of the new Valhalla colony to make his point. 50,000 dead in minutes. That's when he'd seen it, the moment the mask slipped. Martinez's expression hadn't changed, but something in her eyes had. Something ancient. Something that remembered what it was like to be both predator and prey on a world that actively tried to kill you. "I need to make a call," she'd said quietly. "To Earth." He'd let her, amused by what he assumed would be a plea for mercy. Instead, she'd spoken 3 words: Protocol 7 activated. Within 6 hours, everything changed. The first sign was the civilian ships. Humanity's merchants, scientists, and explorers. Soft people in soft ships suddenly weren't soft anymore. Cargo haulers revealed hidden weapon systems. Research vessels deployed combat drones. Mining ships turned their industrial lasers on hegemony patrols. Every human in the galaxy had been living a lie. Then came the broadcasts from Earth. Not military propaganda or rallying cries, just historical documentaries. Humans fighting humans. Wars that had killed millions over patches of dirt. Weapons that burned cities, poisons that melted lungs, bombs that could crack continents. "This is what we do to each other," the message said simply. "Imagine what we'll do to you." But the real horror came when the true human fleet emerged from dark space. Kethryn had destroyed their visible navy, 50 outdated vessels. He hadn't known about the 300 ships hidden in the void between stars, powered down, waiting. Ships that didn't match any known design philosophy because they weren't built to impress or intimidate. They were built to kill. No smooth lines or aesthetic considerations. Just armor, weapons, and engines. Flying brutality given form. And the crews. The reports from survivors spoke of humans who didn't smile anymore, didn't negotiate. They moved through hegemony ships like a plague, using tactics that violated every civilized rule of warfare. Chemical weapons that made hegemony soldiers tear out their own eyes. Biological agents that turned their bodies into breeding grounds for Earth parasites. Psychological warfare broadcasts that drove entire crews insane. "You wanted to see what Deathworlders really are," Captain James Chen broadcast on all frequencies as his ship, the appropriately named Extinction Event, tore through Kethryn's defensive line. "We spent 40 years pretending to be civilized, holding back our nature, playing nice. You killed 50,000 innocents and made us remember what we evolved from." The archive records had been clear. Deathworld species wore masks of civilization because the alternative was too terrible. They smiled and traded and helped because it was easier than explaining what they were capable of. Kethryn watched his empire's greatest fleet burn under the assault of a species they dismissed as weak. Humans didn't fight like other species, with honor or rules or limits. They fought like something that had clawed its way to sentience through millions of years of everything trying to kill them. "Sir," his tactical officer whimpered, "they're broadcasting again." Martinez's face appeared on screen. The diplomatic smile was gone, replaced by something that made Kethryn's prey instincts scream. "Admiral," she said, You have 1 hour to order a full retreat. After that, we stop holding back. This isn't holding back? Catherine asked, his voice breaking. She smiled then, and it was the most terrifying thing he'd ever seen. Oh, Admiral, we haven't even taken the mask all the way off yet.